humans hunted down by packs of killer robotic dogs. Man's best friend becomes man's worst enemy. Dystopian science fiction? Not anymore. Like many other types of autonomous and unmanned equipment, robot dogs are taking up an increasingly prominent role in the US military. And they're terrifying. But what makes them so deadly, and how is the US military using them? Keep watching to discover all the details about the US's latest robot dogs. But first, how did we get from science fiction to high-tech hounds actually on the battlefield? In many ways, it's the natural progression of a process that started over 200 years ago. The first recorded use of an unmanned vehicle for warfighting occurred in July 1849 during the Siege of Venice. The Austrian forces used unmanned balloons to drop bombs on the city, marking the first offensive use of air power in naval aviation. Meanwhile, the use of unmanned equipment by the US military dates back to the Civil War, when balloons laden with explosives were launched by both Union and Confederate forces to destroy ammunition depots. During World War I, the US Navy hired the Sperry Gyroscope Company to develop an unmanned torpedo dubbed the Hewitt-Sperry Automatic Airplane that could fly 1,000 yards and detonate its warhead on an enemy target. And in World War II, Operation Aphrodite in 1944 saw the US Air Force and Navy using radio-controlled, unmanned bombers, notably the Interstate TDR, as precision-guided munitions. However, the US military's use of unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, really took off during the Gulf War, where at least one UAV was airborne at all times. Following the Gulf War, global militaries led by the US invested widely in the development of combat UAVs, and by 2014 the US military already operated a large number of UAVs, including 7,362 RQ-11 Ravens, 990 AeroVironment Wasp-3s, 1,137 AeroVironment RQ-20 Pumas, and 306 RQ-16 T-Hawks. Initially, modern UAVs like the MQ-1 Predator were primarily used for reconnaissance and surveillance, but it didn't take long before they were perhaps inevitably modified into deadly weapons. In fact, Predators armed with Hellfire missiles were first used in late 2001 for ground target strikes in Afghanistan. The US military continued to develop and deploy unmanned aerial systems, and by 2014, the US Air Force was training more drone pilots than fighter and bomber pilots combined. And the mission profile of these UAVs has expanded way beyond intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions to include electronic attacks, drone strikes, and suppression or destruction of enemy air defense. Indeed, UCAVs, or unmanned combat aerial vehicles, have now become an integral part of modern warfare, notably during the Syrian War, the 2020 Nagorno-Karabakh War, and particularly during the Russian invasion of Ukraine. In March 2025, the US Air Force unveiled its first unmanned fighters, the YFQ-42A and YFQ-44. These aircraft are part of the Collaborative Combat Aircraft Program, CCA for short, and are designed to operate alongside new and existing crewed fighter jets as loyal wingmen, with multiple units capable of being controlled by a single manned fighter. But the US military's use of unmanned equipment hasn't just been confined to the air. All branches are increasingly making use of unmanned ground vehicles, or UGVs. A UGV is defined as a vehicle that operates while in contact with the ground and without an onboard human presence. These vehicles are designed to replace humans in hazardous situations, such as handling explosives and bomb disabling, where additional strength or smaller size is needed, or where humans cannot safely go. They're also used in military applications like surveillance, reconnaissance, and target acquisition, and are effective in naval operations and for the Marine Corps in combat. They can assist in logistics operations on land and sea, and be used in peacekeeping operations, ground surveillance, and gatekeeper checkpoint operations. They're also used as an urban street presence and to enhance police and military raids in urban settings. Additionally, UGVs are able to draw first fire from adversaries, which reduces military and police casualties. The history of UGVs in the US military dates back to at least 2007, when the Gladiator, the world's first armed UGV, was delivered to the Marine Corps, where it's been widely used ever since. The Gladiator is 5.84 feet long, 3.67 feet wide, 4.43 feet tall, and weighs just less than 1,600 pounds. Armed with an M249 squad automatic weapon, M240G medium machine gun, 9mm Uzi, or anti-personnel obstacle breaching system, it can perform assault and breaching missions over and above surveillance and reconnaissance missions. It utilizes remote imaging software to relay messages, including day and night images and thermal images, and is armored to withstand assault from ammunition up to 7.62mm rounds. There are at least 19 other UGVs in use or development for the US military as of 2025. The Talon, for example, is a multi-purpose UGV that's been used extensively by the US military for explosive ordnance disposal or EOD missions for decades. Another EOD-related UGV seeing increasing use is the M1 Abrams Panther II, a 40-ton mine-clearing vehicle based on the M1 Abrams main battle tank. It's specifically modified for mine-clearing missions, which include removing the turret and installing mine rollers on the front of the vehicle. The Panther II can clear a 50,000 square foot minefield in 1 hour and can be operated from up to 2,600 feet away. But UGVs don't just move by means of wheels or tracks. Some of them use limbs, like robot dogs. Robot dogs, more formally known as quadrupedal unmanned ground vehicles or QUGVs, first made their operational debut at an American military base in early 2020, and these four-limbed sensor platforms have found a growing number of new applications as an extra pair of eyes and ears for troops across the armed forces. They're being gradually rolled out to US bases across the continental US, like Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada, Tyndall Air Force Base and Patrick Space Force Base in Florida, Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota, Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana, the Philadelphia Navy Yard, and as far afield as the Red Sands Integrated Experimentation Center in Saudi Arabia. But that wasn't where the US military's involvement with robot dogs began. In 2005, robotics leader Boston Dynamics unveiled Big Dog, a four-legged mechanical pack mule that was intended to haul weapons and supplies for US troops over terrain considered unwelcoming to traditional wheeled or tracked ground vehicles. Funded by DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, and adopted as the Legged Squad Support System by the Marine Corps Warfighting Laboratory, Big Dog was eventually deemed too loud for practical use and discontinued after a decade and more than $40 million invested in the much-hyped project. However, the underlying research behind Big Dog eventually spawned Spot, a smaller, quieter robot dog that Boston Dynamics debuted in 2015. Although Spot can only carry around 30 pounds, too small for a meaningful load of gear and weapons, the system immediately had clear military implications for everything from base perimeter security to remote site inspection. And as it turned out, Spot has subsequently proven to be the platform-defining vision of quadrupedal ground robots, inspiring both collaborators like Asilon Robotics' Drone Dog and competitors like Ghost Robotics Vision 60 to compete for a slice of the Defense Department's growing robotics budget. We'll delve deeper into these two systems shortly, but first a bit more on Spot. Spot has 12 degrees of freedom, allowing it to move autonomously with agility and precision, including navigating rough terrain and around obstacles, climbing down stairs and walking on rocks. It also has the ability to handle slopes up to 30 degrees and steps up to a foot. And it rights itself if it falls. This is made possible thanks to Spot's 360-degree field of view, enabled by 5 pairs of stereo cameras that provide black and white images and video. That's why it's so useful in military applications like reconnaissance, surveillance, perimeter security, and accessing tricky spaces that are dangerous or inaccessible to humans or flesh and bone dogs. But one thing that Spot isn't is a killer robot. In fact, in October 2022, 6 leading robotics companies led by Boston Dynamics published a letter in which they promised to prohibit military customers from weaponizing their robots for combat purposes. We believe that adding weapons to robots that are remotely or autonomously operated, widely available to the public, and capable of navigating to previously inaccessible locations where people live and work raises new risks of harm and serious ethical issues, the company wrote. Weaponized applications of these newly capable robots will also harm public trust in the technology in ways that damage the tremendous benefits they will bring to society. Some might consider this a hypocritical stance from these companies, since a few of them, such as Boston Dynamics, initially developed these robots with American military money. But then, as now, the intent was not for armed use. Another signatory to the letter was Asilon, who in 2023 were awarded a Phase 1 Small Business Innovation Research, SBIR for short, contract to leverage their TRL-9 commercial drone dog security robot system for the augmentation of military working dogs, or MWD. Drone Dog is a high-endurance, agile, and durable QUGV built to automate ground-based security patrols. Utilizing the Spot robot plus Asilon's Pup Pack, Doghouse, and Drone IQ software, the system had patrolled over 10,000 miles for commercial clients before being picked up by the US military. Drone Dog features live video monitoring, remote teleoperation, daytime-nighttime cameras, and automated charging, using advanced robotics to make perimeter security easier. The AFWorks contract aims to explore the integration of advanced sensor technology and AI machine learning technologies into the existing Asilon Drone Dog system in order to improve gate guard procedures. Some of these integrations include sniffing technologies for explosives and narcotics, license plate recognition software, and facial recognition. There's no indication that either Asilon or the Air Force intends to arm Drone Dog, but not all developers of robot dogs signed that letter. And just as the Predator UAVs, originally designed for reconnaissance and surveillance, eventually started raining down hellfire on the Iraqi army, so too are robotic dogs, designed for more benign tasks like beefing up perimeter security, being armed with increasingly ominous weaponry. The robot dog that's mainly being armed by the US military is Ghost Robotics Vision 60 QUGV. The Vision 60 is a mid-sized, high-endurance, agile, and durable, all-weather quadruped ground robot designed for use in a broad range of unstructured, urban, and natural environments. It is suitable for defense, homeland security, public safety, and enterprise applications. Like Spot, it's designed to traverse almost any terrain that's navigable by a human and can carry a wide range of sensor packages, plus a payload of around 22 pounds. It's able to withstand extreme temperatures with its IP67 rating, allowing it to operate from -49 to -67 degrees Fahrenheit. It's capable of walking continuously for 3.15 hours at a maximum speed of just below 10 feet per second, and can remain stationary for up to 21 hours in standby mode. Powered by a 1,250 watt-hour standard lithium-ion battery, it can cover 6.5 miles on a single charge. The sensory and communication specs are also impressive. The Vision 60 is equipped with RGB and time of flight or TOF depth sensors, 2.4 and 5.8 GHz Wi-Fi, 4G LTE radios, and a gigabit switch that supports any external radio. It can also be fitted with CBRN and specialty sensing kits, and the integration of light detection and ranging imaging systems, more commonly known as LiDAR, enables the user to obtain 3D imaging of the surrounding environment to assess potential threats. Cameras are fitted to the front, rear, and sides, offering 360-degree views and enhancing situational awareness, which is important for planning effective strategies. NVIDIA Xavier CPU and GPUs, integrated with the mainboard, radios, Gigabit Ethernet (Gig-E) switch, Global Navigation Satellite System (GNSS), and other electronics enable real-time edge computing. But perhaps the most critical feature when it comes to turning this robot dog into a hellhound is the fully modular design, which enables swapping of sub-assemblies such as batteries, legs, CPUs, and sensor heads within minutes. Coupled with the Ghost software development kit, which allows customers to customize the behaviors and autonomy applications of the V60, this modularity is rather useful when it comes to fitting the Vision 60 with the advanced weaponry needed to turn it into a killer. The Australian Army used a brain-computer interface to control the Ghost Robotics quadruped robot during a demonstration at the Majura training area in Canberra, Australia, in May 2022. This technology allows the robotic dog to be controlled using brain waves detected by a biosensor placed at the back of the operator's head. That's a scary thought, a killer robot dog being controlled remotely from far away by the operator's thoughts alone. But what weapons can be attached to it? Experiments and evaluations are ongoing, far from the public eye, but the various branches of the US military have given us some serious hints at what we can expect. In September 2024, the Defense Visual Information Distribution Services, or DVIDs, published pictures of a Vision 60 armed with what appears to be an AR-15 M16 pattern rifle on a rotating turret undergoing rehearsals at the Red Sands Integrated Experimentation Center in Saudi Arabia. This specialized gun turret, which features a large electro-optical targeting system with Lone Wolf emblazoned across the side, appears to be the same artificial intelligence-enabled system that the Army demonstrated during Operation Hardkill, a separate counter-unmanned aerial system exercise led by the service's Combat Capabilities Development Command, or DEVCOM, and the 10th Mountain Division at Fort Drum, New York, in August of the same year. In layman's terms, we're talking about an AI-enabled automated anti-drone gun mounted on an autonomous robot. That's a frightening thought, whether the robot is controlled by brainwaves or the more customary PlayStation-like controller. But it's just the latest in a string of weapons systems to be attached to a robot dog by the US military. In May 2024, it was revealed that the US Marine Forces Special Operations Command, or MARSOC, has 2 robot dogs fitted with gun systems based on Onyx's Sentry remote weapon system, one in 7.62 by 39mm caliber and another in 6.5mm Creedmoor caliber. Sentry is a multifunctional intelligent remote weapon system designed to be a force multiplier for the modern battlefield. It provides automated target detection and recognition while maintaining human oversight for lethal engagement. Sentry is available in kinetic and ISR, short for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance variants, and can be deployed for overwatch or terrain denial to protect friendly forces. Developed in partnership with Oxy, Sentry integrates Onyx's X360 pan and tilt gimbal, a raw or remote-actuated weapon, and Oxy's AI-enabled digital imaging system for maximum operational impact. The system is capable of remote safe and fire sequences via secure encrypted radios, intuitive software interfaces, and compliant tethered networks. Sentry is also fully integrated with ATAC, the Army Tactical Assault Kit, and is MANET or Mobile Ad Hoc Network capable. That allows it to autonomously scan, detect, classify, track, and report any threat for fast and effective tactical action. Plus, according to Onyx, the RAW in its various calibers accepts standard-size magazines and drums. But the Sentry integration is not the first time Onyx, in conjunction with the US military, has revealed a robot dog armed with mechanical molars. In 2021, Ghost Robotics and Sword International teamed up to create a rifle-toting robot dog called the Special Purpose Unmanned Rifle, or SPUR, which adds a 6.5mm Creedmoor rifle from Sword to a Vision 60. 6.5mm is not a widely used caliber round in the US military or anywhere else, at least not yet. But testing has shown that this round actually offers an increased range over the various 7.62x51mm cartridges that are available to the US Special Operations Forces in the 2020s. The exact configuration of the 6.5mm gun inside the SPUR module, such as how much ammunition it contains and how hard it might be to reload, is unclear, although the SPUR product card said that it's capable of precision fire out to nearly 3,940 feet. But in terms of the weapon itself, Sword does offer derivatives of the 5.56x45mm AR-15/M16 family, as well as similar but larger caliber guns, more akin to the Armalite AR-10 or Knight's Armament Company SR-25. Those rifles come in calibers such as 7.62x51mm, 6.5mm Creedmoor, .300 Norma Magnum, and .338 Norma Magnum. The weapon used in the SPUR module looks like it could have a sound suppressor fitted to the front end, which would make it more difficult for opponents to determine where the shooting might be coming from. Another weapon that the Marine Corps is known to have successfully tested while mounted on a robot dog is a rocket launcher. However, this time they didn't use Vision 60, and they referred to the system as a robot goat. While it's not entirely clear why the Marines chose to define this system using caprine rather than canine terminology, it's been suggested that this may have to do with the name of the quadrupedal robot they used in the test, a Chinese-made Unitree Go 1. Go 1s are readily available for purchase online, including through Amazon, with different models available for between $2,700 and up to $8,500. The weapon system on the Go 1's back consists of a mount designed to hold and fire an M72 series rocket launcher, plus a forward-facing GoPro camera offset on the right side. There are rails installed at various points that could be used to mount additional cameras, aiming lasers, and other accessories. Judging by the images released, it looks like an M72AS trainer, which fires a 21mm rocket with a tracer element at the rear, was the version of the launcher used in this particular demonstration. However, multiple variants of the M72, the first versions of which were introduced in the 1960s, remain in production today. These offer a variety of different capabilities, but they all come preloaded with a single rocket, and the launchers are intended to be discarded after use. A robot dog equipped with an M72 could be a game changer in terms of dismounted attacks on armored vehicles. These attacks can be very risky, especially in close quarters in urban environments. Being able to get closer to those targets greatly increases the chance of scoring a hit, but also getting hit yourself. So finding ways to engage those threats remotely, for example utilizing a rocket-armed robot dog, makes good sense. Armed with a rocket launcher or other kinds of weapons, including small arms, a quadrupedal robot could also just be used to scout ahead of friendly forces and then have the ability to immediately engage any threats it finds. Of course, as technology continues to evolve at breakneck speed, we can only speculate on what new, advanced weaponry the US military will be able to attach to robot dogs. A robot dog launching robot UAVs is certainly not that far-fetched an idea anymore, and with the Chinese and Russians also experimenting with armed robot dogs, these mechanical mutts are likely to play an increasingly prominent role on the modern battlefield. We've already seen robot dogs enforcing social distancing regulations in Singapore during the COVID-19 pandemic, and now it seems only a matter of time until the robotic dogs of war are unleashed. Let's hope the world's robot makers and militaries develop this technology responsibly, including features like kill switches, so that the nightmarish scenarios in an episode of Black Mirror never become reality. But what do you think? Are killer robot dogs a necessary and inevitable step in the future of defense, or are they a dystopian step in entirely the wrong direction? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and thank you, as always, for watching.